Welcome back to SVR race fans for the penultimate round of the G1 Championship. My name is Webbo, here to join you for the race as ever. And this is how things are looking in our championship currently. We are looking at Mega Racing leading the G1 Championship on 240 points, just 7 ahead of Kimi's racing team, and those positions recently just swapping round. Mega Racing then in a strong position, but far from able to capture the title then until I'm certain next race. Delesi in P3 have 230. It is very tight at the top of our championship, with Bugstein in 4th place on 203. Then there is a large gap back to the next two teams, Brokaga and Coach Dave, 157 and 148 respectively, and Jamplacht Interiors have 135, and by no means are they out of it yet. In the Drivers' Championship, and a big hello to Joehouse Chris, who joins us in the chat. First of all, do say hello. Check out the links I've sent you in that chat as well to take part in the race, and call out anything that you see that we're not talking about on stream. Feel free. I will do my best to try and track it. Herein is the championship. Dummy leads 184 points by just 6 ahead of Senior Fac. Dummy on a 4 feature race winning streak so far on this one, and he has 2 further wins as well. Tequila Monkey has 128 points, 50 back from Senior Fac. Senior Fac with 4 wins to Dummy's 6 so far. Tequila Monkey yet to step on the winners rostrum. Bijan is in 4th place and having a good run of form lately on 118, with Durtbag Larry, every neutral's favourite, on 97 points in 5th. Nicky Lauda has 85 and is now joint with Comacopa, with Flash coming back for this race after 3 races out, has 80 points and looking to add to that tally naturally throughout the course of this round of the championship. It's good to have our drivers full strength back here. We've got Red in 9th with, and he's missing today, replaced by Nasty, with Uncle Pants in 10th, Mappy in 11th, Sock in 12th, and Sock Racing injured today. If he has managed to make it, he has indeed. So an injury to his knee. So wish him well from all of us. Phil in 13th and Focal in 14th. That's the drivers' standings. The drivers have got themselves out onto the grid already, and they are about to start their qualifying session here at Nürburgring, and we will join them because right now we are on board with Flash, who is, by the way, our highest driver rated in Gran Turismo driver we have in the league. First time seeing the race engineer link, says Jailhouse Chris. Very excited to follow along with his favourite drivers, presumably going for Coach Dave as usual. As we run through then the Vidal chicane. I'm getting absolutely no game sound, but it looks like you guys are, so please confirm for me. But I'm currently not actually getting anything through my headphones, so yeah, help me out and just make sure. We're powering out of Hyundai corner. The turn 15 used to be known as the Coca-Cola corner before pitching downhill. Thank you, Taylor. Downhill into the braking zone. Big stop into the Ravenel hairpin. And then turning fully right. This is not the sprint setup. A big snap of oversteer from Flash there as he goes in towards turn 2 and now 3. Very tight. You can run super wide on the exit of turn 4 that becomes turn 5. Watch what Flash does here. Right over the white line. You can go even further, almost a car width more over there in this qualifying trim. Down then into the left-hander of turn 5 officially, and then into the Paget Racing turn 6, which is like a practice run into turn 7. The Goodyear corner used to be known as Dunlop. Very good of you, Jazz Chris, to reassure me that you can hear both car and me, which is good to hear. And then through this Goodyear corner we go, looking for a slingshot out of that bank corner before heading uphill towards the Michael Schumacher S. This has been flat out for our Formula cars, the G cars, the GT3s, having to just hesitate on the throttle there a little bit before heading left into Xiaomi corner, the Chinese car manufacturer Xiaomi, and then into Bilstein which has had previous names in the past of the Warsteiner and the Bit Curver. This is then heading towards the Falcon kink, and then we go straight back uphill towards that Vidal chicane once again. A big stop coming up, of course, as we drop down through the gears, able to ride the curbs quite aggressively, the Lamborghini at the moment, before heading. There was your pit lane entry on your right. Do not hit this pit wall on the entry. It frightens you every time you go by. Flash very wide on the exit of the corner. I presume he had to just dip out of the throttle, but he sets a 1:57.1 very quickly out there. Senor Fak is following him on the grid. Komakopa has gone second for now, as Senor Fak goes just 7 seconds slower, so he's obviously on a charge lap. Komakopa is taking part in a draft for a different league as a team captain while doing this session. Here comes Durtbag Larry to the line as Tequila Monkey's gone third. Durtbag Larry, a slow lap from him. He's about to go for a hot lap as we run through. I hope that Hector is working a-okay for everybody. I think it looks pretty good so far. So shout out if Hector still says our overlay system still says qualifying in the race. I think I've got the power to turn it into a race, but I don't know for sure. I've not actually tried it in action. This is Durtbag Larry, then it's Flash from Dummy, from Tequila Monkey, and of course Dummy fighting for the championship. Flash no longer fighting for the championship, and those two have come together. Now as a purple sector for Durtbag Larry in the Audi R8 for Coach Dave, before heading into the right-hand turn 6 Paget Racing corner. Famous name in motorsport, of course, Paget Racing, before heading then downhill into the Goodyear. It's a bit like a carousel, really, in the big green hill version of the Nürburgring Nordschleife, looking for that slingshot exit, and it's purple all the way for Larry so far in the Audi. I wonder if this is one of those tracks that the Audi is going to come good for. Before heading into then, this is Xiaomi corner, turn 10 officially, and then the right hand of Bilstein, just riding that curb. I feel like that was not necessarily as quick as it could have been through there, but he's still purple as Durtbag Larry, down in 13th at the moment, having just set a charge lap, got the tyres up to temperature to burn off some fuel, dropping down through the gears, ride those curbs strongly, just avoid the bollard on the entry to the corner, and running through then the final corner for Durtbag Larry. Can he get himself up into the contender positions here in qualifying? He will go stretching towards the line. Durtbag Larry takes that pole by 22 thousandths of a second, and it's over to Flash and Senor Fak to fight that back, but the best of the tyres has now been used. We're running very wide. That in a Formula car is a recipe for disaster, running that wide, but with the extra weight on the GT3s, you can just about ride this. that is taking the mickey from Senor Fak in the Porsche, and look, he's still purple despite going so far off the official painted line version of the circuit. He may get a distant tow here as he heads uphill. We'll wait to see what the next sector looks like. It looked like he was putting in quite a few corrections on the steering, heading into Goodyear corner now, looking for a late apex or a double apex through that corner, and then getting on the power as early as possible. No, he's lost a lot of time then on this particular lap. Let's go back to Flash as we are running in sunset conditions, because there was a glitch in the Lexus cockpit that was causing strobe lighting effects during the daytime here, so we have made an accommodation for the Lexus drivers, and I'm sure everyone at Team Mega are very appreciative of their colleagues for allowing that, because it did have to get tested and other people's eyes were suffering the same issue, and we don't want anybody seizing as a result. Here comes Flash then. He's looking for 22 thousandths of a second only to take that pole position back away from Durtbag Larry, but it's not to be. What can Dummy do in the Lexus? Well, he has just totaled our bollard as he is following one of the Kimmy's racing drivers to the final portion of the lap. He might get a tow here off the back of the Ferrari, who's obviously a little bit slower. Here comes Dummy, championship favourite, and he takes pole position by 0.4 of a second, and that was a big grab from Larry, from Durtbag Dummy. from Dummy, from taking that pole away from Durtbag Larry, because that is quite far into the soft tyre stint, albeit with the fuel coming off. Let's have a look at Tequila Monkey. We haven't ridden on one of the Ferraris for a few minutes, and unfortunately we are riding on one of those curbs, and lots of corrections. Big shout out today. This race is dedicated to one of our #1 fans, Carol, from Kimmy's nursery and preschool. And so big hello to her, and a big thank you for her patronage throughout the course of the season. It's wonderful to hear from our fan community, and yeah, all our appreciation and thanks go out to Carol. Down we go, and Taylor says thank you, Carol, as well. So that's fantastic. So yeah, apparently the Kimmy's preschool and nursery are big fans and watch our races attentively to see their beautiful cars running around. It's Dummy ahead of Durtbag Larry with Flash in third, Senyorfak in fourth. That is one stellar top 5 drivers here, with no shade on Nasty, but in terms of setting up a mouth-watering run here through this Nürburgring race, that is incredibly exciting to see if we can get these 5 ace drivers at the front. Flash pits, in fact. I think he's decided to call it quits for now. We're coming down to the final few seconds, but I do think we have just millimeters left on the tyres for the drivers on these soft tyres. It's going to be very tricky to eke out a lap time. Here comes Tequila Monkey then to cross the line. What will he be able to muster out of the Ferrari? Is it better than 5th place? Here he goes. They've crossed the line. Tequila Monkey was a little bit slower, unfortunately, there. So no change. It is Dummy in the Lexus, number 33, who manages to take the pole position today, ahead of Senyorfak. The 2 championship contenders did in the end get to the front, and I can see Red watching here as well. So it's good to see Red. I'm sorry to see that Red hasn't been able to make it to the race today, but always here to support his team as usual. So it is Dummy, Senyorfak, Durtbag Larry, Flash in 4th. An adjustment to your positions there on the grid. Flash has not connected Hector, so he has not officially set a time. Hopefully there will be a little bit of empty space on Hector throughout that, but plaudits go out to Dummy, who takes that fantastic pole position. Joe has Chris says well done Larry and Mappy. So that's good for Coach Dave, obviously, and these drivers frequently getting plenty of support, of course, as most of our teams do. So this is the official qualifying session over. 156.351 for Dummy, 3.5 tenths of a second faster than Senyorfak, and that is not something you can very often say. Senyorfak in 2nd place. Durtbag Larry in 3rd place with a phenomenal against the grain qualifying session for the Audi, and Flash returning to us and having lost not a clip of speed. 156.787 for Flash. Tequila Monkey in 5th with Mappy in 6th. Nasty scoring a 7th in a reserve seat is very noteworthy, with Copa in P8. In fact, that's often where around about where Red will qualify. So Nasty no slouch here. Copa in P8. Looking for a better race, I think it's fair to say, in the Jag. Phil in 9th is racing for Delesi in the Porsche, with Sock in 10th, racing with that injured left knee. Bijan in P11 and Uncle Pants in P12. Nicky Lauda ended up 2.6 seconds in the end away from the outright pole position, which was, as I said, held by Dummy. So congratulations to our drivers. It's fantastic. What I'm going to try and do for you today is I'm going to try and pause adverts during the race, and unless it gets a little bit like we need a break, I'm going to try and pause in race adverts for you if I can. I don't know with a great deal of confidence whether that's going to work or not, so I'm just going to keep my eye on everything. I do just need to have a quick check of everything. I've just had okay, Okay, just getting some instructions from race control, so just have to keep an eye on everybody. That's all good. And just need to check in as well with the driver chat room. Make sure I'm not missing any pertinent information today. There will be the G2 race at the same track coming up on my channel later on in the week. So that's going to be one to look forward to, as usual. Remember, this is the penultimate round of the championship. The final round for the GT3 cars is going to be at Road Atlanta for a day transition. Hopefully, if we can get that working this time, that'll be bags of fun if we can. So hopefully we will be able to get that for you. And it will be a tremendously atmospheric race. I will have a little bit of relief from calling 5 races at the same place on every round cadence. So that's going to be nice from my perspective, and great to have yet another one here for us. So the Formula cars next weekend will be taking part in their 13th and final round of the season, which will be at the ferocious Monza. And then, as I say, the following weekend we go to Road Atlanta for these wonderful GT3 drivers. So I have just got a 4-minute warning. So there is plenty of time if you want to just grab a snack. So we're going to go at 10 to the hour. So that is 50 minutes past, as it were. So if you do need anything to have a comfortable race with us, do go ahead and do that now. That'd be great. Let me know who you're here to support. Scavvy says happy Sunday. It's always a happy Sunday when it's race day. Am I right? And Jailhouse Chris currently has the P1 in the leaderboard as well today for the chat. So I imagine Red is going to be right up there. I'm surprised Scavvy didn't screech into P1 immediately, because he's got he's one of my most loyal supporters on the track. I want to say a quick thank you to my channel members as well, who are supporting my channel financially. Big thank you to them. That includes Wask and Nintendo from our league. So that's wonderful. To say a big thank you to them, as well as Alexandra Pappas and to Eric. I am super pleased and proud of everybody that does their bit to support the league and my channel as well. It is very much appreciated. So please press the buttons at the bottom of the video today while we are waiting for the race to get underway. I'd love to hear your predictions as well. Who do you fancy, and what are you noticing on those Hector or engineer views that I dropped in the links earlier on? Particularly, I know Jailhouse Chris was going to watch with that running as well. So like I say, if you are noticing a driver's got very cold tyres or overheated tyres or a problem like that, then do let me know. There's plenty of time for the drivers to make sure that they can get themselves organised, get their setups on, with Matt giving some great hosting duties and just getting organised for everybody. So that's awesome. Scavvy, you're very kind as usual, but it's the community that makes SVR what it is, and we've been reading some amazing origin stories from people through the week. We had I forget now whether it was Joe or it was Sol who started a thread of how did I get here, how did I come to be at SVR, and there are some tremendously heartwarming stories out there. Some drivers who've been driving through some horrific illnesses, but have found that this community is really supportive, and a really, it's great to be part of a community such as this. Yeah, do, if you haven't already and you're part of our Discord, and there should be a link to join that on the at SVR-Racing YouTube channel, do have a quick look, because if you don't cry reading that, I think you're made of stone. So that was absolutely fantastic to read, especially as we come to the end of what has at times been a fairly fraught season. I think it's fair to say some nerves have been frayed, Some plaudits have been given out, and we have yet to crown all of our champions, of course. So wonderful to have everybody ready to race. I'll tell you something that has been a bit of a shame, and I could well be biased, so I'm going to just offer that to you. But we are one driver down today because the new G2 champion V8 was denied entry to today's race by the team captains, or at least one of those team captains. So we are fielding a one-car team in Mega today. Unfortunately, I'm afraid to say. So that is a big shame from my perspective. Always bad if we drop that opportunity for someone to reserve up, as it were. But we are underway. I have pressed the pause button on the Eds. Let me know if it works. But hopefully we will be able to give you fabulous running then. And then the final is about to get underway. Excuse me, as I make sure that I press all the right buttons, get you everything that you want to see. We are ready to get underway with Dummy and Senior Fac, head of the championship, head of the qualifying order, and we are ready for the penultimate round of the G1 season. And it's dropped the clutch, and go, go, go. Look for those Ferraris jumping forward a row or two as Tequila Monkey makes his way up into P4. Dummy versus Tequila Monkey, it says on my screen at the moment. Dummy in P1. Tequila Monkey level with Senior Fac. Tries to sweep around the outside as the cars are trying to navigate this one side by side as Komakopa gets spun. Komakopa round, I'm sorry to say, and he has had a spin in the Jaguar, but Dummy leads by 0.6 of a second from Senior Fac, from Flash. And that looked like Nasty going all the way around the outside. He is trying to hold on to that inside line as they come through the turn 3 and 4 interchange. But it is Durtbag Larry down into 6th, Mappy into 7th. But we have Tequila Monkey with Flash, and in front of them, Senior Fac and Dummy at the head of the field. Let's just try and find out exactly what went down at the start here as we run downhill, and we'll try and piece things together. And that was Komakopa there on the outside, and just cars getting there's just a lot of traffic. I'm afraid to say it's difficult to park that at anybody specific's door. But there you have it. Dummy leading by 1 second already on the hard tyres as well, and jumping forward. He's changed slightly the tone of his of the red parts of his mega kart for today, and you've got hard tyres for the top 3, 4, 5 cars. So Nasty gained a position on a medium shod Durtbag Larry, who is taking it steady at the start of the race, as everybody should do really for an endurance race. Here comes Tequila Monkey then with his part-time nemesis in front of him, Flash, as we head uphill towards the Vidal chicane. Let's see if we can get any juicy overtakes going from the drivers. It is going to be difficult. It is not the easiest one. Kelvin says that's a perfectly executed pit maneuver on Komakopa. I do think he was hampered in front as well as behind, though. I genuinely don't think that was a problem, but we shouldn't do grid starts, says Jailhouse Chris. Unfortunately, Larry got mugged. So lots of chat going on as Dummy leads by just about a second, and Flash gets pretty long into the braking zone there, and he knocks over one of our cones into the path of other drivers. Let's see if the cone survives, though. There it goes, and is volleyed by semi-volleyed by Mappy, and dispatched out of the way. The beautiful looking Bergstein Transport Service cars of Niki Lauda and Bijan running 8th and 9th positions, both on the medium tyres, doing the same thing as we see quite often with these two. Phil in 10th for Delesi, Uncle Pants in 11th. Komakopa is on medium tyres. He's got a damaged front splitter, but he didn't have as bad a start, unfortunately, as Sock, who is at the back then on the hard tyres. So as the drivers race down hill towards the Goodyear corner, Dummy leads by now just 0.6 of a second as Senior Fac is starting to turn up the intensity and the speed. Flash looks like he's hanging on to that steering wheel and that Lamborghini by the fingernails. He's further decorated the car with even more red Flash Gordon accents. You can just see a Flash license plate on the car there. I haven't seen that one before. But Tequila Monkey in P4, and Jailhouse Chris just saying the cars start at such different rates. It kind of makes quali pointless. Well, yes, I do have a lot of sympathy about that. I think you're right. that perhaps for sprint races or you know, unusual tracks, we perhaps should stick with the grids, but rolling start would be a safer way of doing it. That is Durtbag Larry trying to go around the outside, get a better run through the corner on Nasty. But it's not quite happening for Durtbag Larry, but he really needs to make a little bit of headway here. Behind him, he's got his teammates, who's got a rear gunner, as it were, with Niki Lauda and Bijan further back. But this is the order then. It's Dummy, Senor-Fak and Flash, with Phil suddenly appearing in second place on here. And I think we might be reading, unfortunately, I think we are reading the qualifying still on Hector. Let's try and refresh Hector. Let's try and get you get this properly set up for you. It is staying at qualifying, so I will turn off Hector for now. And if Matt is watching, or someone who can communicate with Matt Debater, please do so, and let him know that he needs to force race on Hector for us. But this is your order then. Dummy ahead of Senor-Fak with Flash and Tequila Monkey. Nasty the second, I should say. Kimmy's racing driver on the hard tyres. Durtbag Larry is the first driver who is on the medium tyres. So he is looking to have a look. So yeah, please, Jailhouse Chris, if you can DM Matt, hopefully he will be able to see that for us. We've got Bijan in 8th, Niki Lauda in 9th, and the drivers are pretty queued up here, as Comacopa will try and unlock a bit of pace then and catch the back of this group while he's on the medium tyres, and then of course he'll slot back into a harder compound. We've got Sock in 12th, Uncle Pants in 13th position, and we've got Dummy leading by 8.5 tenths of a second now. Yes, that's what's happening. We've got. I always think that little pile of tyres before the just after the Vidal chicane that catches the camera. I always have a heart-stopping moment there where I think it's a car who spun, and Dummy makes a mistake coming out of the corner. Unfortunately, Dummy has given up the lead of the race. Not just that, but he's given up second position as well. Here comes Dummy through the final corner. Can't quite get to the apex, but everything looks fairly straightforward. But a big tail snap on the Lexus, and then we sit down into the kitty litter, unfortunately for him, and that is down and dropping position then to P3, and that is a big problem for our championship for Dummy, who falls back in the order. And then Tequila Monkey having a little sniff at the rear quarter of Dummy's car. That could be spun round, but I tell you what has happened. There goes Flash. Flash has had a similar problem then, and he has had a spin. Unfortunately, something odd happening with the tyres, or possibly the wind direction as they come through this corner. It looks like it's going to be a tail snap from the Lamborghini, and then all the way around and into the barrier for Flash. And that is something you do not see very often at all. Flash then unfortunately down into P11, and the day's starting to brighten a little bit for Comacopa with these accidents. There is a big traffic jam happening up ahead though, as Dummy now in second is just ahead of Tequila Monkey. Durtbag Larry trying to go the outside to the inside around the Schumacher S, and you hardly ever see side by side through that corner. He's got so much pace to spare. There goes Mappy launching down the inside. Tequila Monkey doesn't know which way to defend, and unfortunately he is spun out now. And it is drama starting on the start of lap 4. And this is an astonishing turn of events as he spin turns the car back. This is him fighting with, well, Nasty got him. Then there was a tap in the rear, and then it was the second tap that did it. And 2 taps from Nasty and Tequila Monkey backwards into the barrier, I'm afraid to say. So Tequila Monkey with an uphill battle then now to fight back, but things were getting very, very busy down in the top group there. So apparently he's forced. Apparently Matt has forced a refresh then of Hector. I will do my best to try and find that for you. Let's have a look and see. It hasn't come through on my end, I'm afraid. But let's see if that does eventuate. I can see Hector on a separate screen, and it's still reading qualifying for me, but maybe it will refresh momentarily for us in the fullness of time, but it is Senufak ahead by 3.3 seconds now. Dummy did have the pace in qualifying ahead. So Jailhouse Chris says he has refreshed it. It looks good, so hopefully it will trigger properly for us. Senufak ahead of Dummy, and now Nasty with Durtbag Larry in 4th. Mappy in 5th place, who's swapped back with his teammate, it seems, and then enter the fray the Buckstein Transport Service white and teal cars of Bijan, who's got ahead of his teammate Nicky Lauda, and they run down. Okay, refresh Hector. I have refreshed him. Unfortunately, he's still saying quali for me. Let's have a look. Let's give you this. Right, brilliant. Okay, it's worked. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Matt. As Mappy's in 5th place, Bijan is in 6th, and Nicky Lauda in 7th place. Phil is in 8th, running with Komakopa back up to 9th place now, and Tequila Monkey in P10, and he is struggling. I think he's managed to avoid any damage on the car, but he's not, I don't imagine, is a very happy monkey in the car at the moment. It's Sock in 11th with the injury, and Uncle Pants in P12. Haven't seen exactly how Uncle Pants ended up down in the order. Flash looks like he has been in and has got some medium tyres, softer compound medium tyres on the car, and now he's going to go for a big undercut, I think, with 50 minutes to go in our Nürburgring Grand Prix distance or similar GT3 race. It's an endurance race here at Sunset at the fabulous Greenheck. It's Senufak ahead of Dummy with Nasty in P3. Durtbag Larry having a look, but there's bigger action going on just behind. It's Bijan alongside, denying the inside line as much as possible, or at least denying the racing line as much as possible to Mappy. But Mappy sneaks one down the inside. A great little exchange between these two, and it's not all over yet. I'll hit the replay buffer key for now, and we'll just see if Bijan can get back past. There's lots of action happening behind as well, as Phil is closing in on Nicky Lauda's P7. But let's have a look at that again from Mappy's perspective. Here he is down the inside line. I think he just lost that position. But missed the apex just a little bit, but held on as they ran through the next corner to his original position that was in P5. Up ahead, Durtbag Larry still unable to take advantage here of using the medium tyres and gain a position. I didn't see exactly how Nasty managed to sneak by Tequila Monkey earlier, but clearly Tequila had some issues heading uphill towards the very corner we're heading to right now, which meant that there was a big queue forming behind him. And we've got lots of people chatting right now. Twinkle Toe is here. Hi to you, cheering on Durtbag Larry here. And then we've got Jailhouse Chris just trying to make sure he stays in P1 in the chat leaderboard today. But I think Red has grabbed that position right now. Up towards the Vidal chicane we go. Durtbag Larry just behind Nasty, 0.3 of a second only. Let's give you the bonnet or hood cam of Durtbag Larry's Audi, and we'll just check behind us and see exactly how far our teammate is away. It's 1.8 seconds as he's disappearing. As Twinkle Toe says, yes, it's great to have you back. Always good for you to stop by, and so thank you for the compliment. A big steer to the inside from Nasty that time as he jinked to the right. Dummy is trying to unlock some pace right now and close back in. I wonder if we're going to continue playing punt the cone here. Durtbag Larry has a chance down the inside. The door was attempted to be shut there, but Larry was already through, and a lovely overtake from Larry, queuing that one up nicely as he runs through. As we run to the outside, we get the better apex, and then the door is very much open as we head downhill towards that turn 3. So we tried to close the door, but Larry definitely had the overtake ability through there. Smooth move like butter, or your favourite vegan alternative, says Jailhouse Chris. Senufak is ahead now, 3.9 seconds, but there's plenty of time still to play. However, I would say that Senufak in the Porsche seems to be able to float along above these tyres a little bit more at the moment than Dummy is with his Lexus. So we will see if that turns into a complete difference in strategy quite often Dummy takes an extra set of hards than the rest of the field, or a harder compound, certainly of the allocation, due to the tyre wear on the Lexus. And he's certainly made his feelings known about the Lexus and its issues, but he's not doing badly at all, is he? So prevailing despite his dislike of the pig, as he calls her. So Senor Fak ahead of Dummy and Durtbag Larry in P3, with Nasty in P4. Bijan in P6. It might be just a little bit too late in the stint here for Larry to put a gap on Nasty. He's unlocking something at the moment, as the Ferrari seems to be lacking a little in outright top speed out there. Red just talking about the championship. I can show you the provisional championship if you would like, which I do enjoy doing here. Now that we've got that ability, thanks to Beragos for building yet another amazing feature for us. But this is the championship as things stand. This would be a 2-point difference between Dummy and Senor Fak, with the advantage to Dummy in that situation. Tequila Monkey in P3 in the championship, but that's only if things finish as they are right this minute. So of course, lots of water to flow under the bridge before we get to that point. I will give you a driver to watch picture in picture as well. I think Bijan is pretty close here. Not everybody is streaming to Twitch, so we are not able to give you absolutely everybody. And unfortunately, I forgot to talk to Beragos about this play button situation after S1. I hate bringing complaints to Beragos because he works so hard for the league. But this play button thing has been annoying now that it's just picked up. As the old quote goes, if I hadn't seen such riches, I could live with being poor. Mappy in P5 is only a small distance here away from Bijan that you're watching picture in picture with. Check out the elevation change then for the VR drivers as we run through the Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit. A little bit further back, we've got Nicky Lauda dropping 2.5 seconds to his teammate right now, as Copa on the comeback, still with that front damage on the Jag. It has managed to get or stay ahead of Phil in the Porsche. Porsche running first and 8th right now. Jaguar, this is the lead Jaguar at the moment in Copa with his purple accents on the car. And he works very hard to design a very nice livery. Does Copa. What a slide from Tequila Monkey coming through the final corner. We have got to watch that again because that'll be an application for style points inbound, I believe. Let's have a look. We'll watch it from the front here, shall we? Big oversteer moment on the way. Fabulous slide and well held by Tequila. Love to see it. Love to see it. So definitely going to give a Webbo style point for that maneuver, as Flash is in 11th, and no one was expecting that today. He's running 1:59.8, 1:58.5, and the fastest lap of 58.3 on the last lap. Senor Fak, 2 minutes and 1:59. So Dummy averaging slightly quicker than Senor Fak at this stage, but as I said, Senor Fak might well be protecting those tyres as we run through this stint to try and make one fewer pit stop. I just want to make sure, I don't know why this is giving me a different driver. So just to complete the order there, Uncle Pants in 12th and Sock in P13. So back to Senor Fak and what's happening with him. Ashley cheering on Larry as well. As I said, a little Tokyo drift, says Kelvin, in the Nürburgring. So I'm trying to think of a German town that would work with that, but I'm struggling right now. Red, help me out. What German town sounds like Tokyo? As Dummy in P2 is chasing down, but it's the difference between the two of them. It's going to be down to these mistakes because their outright pace. If they were in the same car or on equal machinery, the pace difference between Senor Fak and Dummy is so tiny. So it's going to come down to, can Senor Fak hold on to this 3-second lead as we run through. I'm liking I'm liking Dummy's new colour change on the red here. It's got a slight colour change to it, maybe a slight sparkle, a little bit of flake in there. Let me know what you think. Are you liking the way it's glinting off the late summer sun here in Germany? Durtbag Larry is looking great out there today. He's in P3. He has one of the finest design helmet colours and livery that is out there as well. But also testing race controls patience with those track limits on the way out of the corner. But he's definitely easing himself towards the end of this medium tyre stint. Might well decide to pit around the end of this lap, I think. Second in sight, says Joe has Chris, for Larry. But he will pit before the drivers in front of him. What does it say on the back of his car there? It says wake up something. We're going to need wake up Loverboy. Nice. Okay. I wish I hadn't asked now. But there goes Durtbag Larry, who is slightly backing the car heading into the Schumacher S. And then in uphill on the outside of the outside of the track limits with two wheels, as is the racing line there on the way through the Xiaomi curve and into Bilstein. Red Snowstorm says Dusseldorf is also called Little Tokyo. Nice, okay. I did not know that. There is the Senior Fact just kicking up the dirt, and Dummy does exactly the same thing as they run up towards the Vidal chicane. Will Larry decide to pit now? I'm worried about these tyres for Larry. I have to say, that for me was the time to pit. That would be my push there, and to then run a slightly longer hard stint than the medium potentially. But you guys know a little bit better than that. Still else, Chris is now giving all of his Dusseldorf knowledge and local eatery, which is great. Bijan pits. This is what you get in when you tune in live. You never quite know what our live audience are going to start chatting about. Bijan pits then, as you've seen picture in picture, and he heads for a new set of boots. We've got Phil now in 6th place. That P4 is Nasty, who has, despite being with us since 2024, has not joined the Hector bus. So on your display, P4 is Nasty, and I'm showing him on screen right now. Mappy is down in 5th place. I should say up in 5th place, really, shouldn't I? Because he's doing a great job. As I think we've got a little bit of interchange going on. There's Sock and Komakopa at the tail of the field. Just Komakopa having made his first scheduled pit stop. Now that, at the end of lap 10, was when he decided to pit, as did Bijan off the medium tyre. And Red's Dusseldorf knowledge has been completely obliterated now. Look at this with the Brokaga and the purple sticker. He's put the biggest Webbo sticker on the roof that I think I've ever seen in my life. So that's awesome from Komakopa. As we run through, there is Komakopa, then running P12. Senior Fact leading the race ahead of Dummy and Durtbag Larry, and then we have Sock in P13. There is Senior Fact's lead at the moment, because Dummy has had to go to the pit stop, and Dummy has pitted at the same point on the hards as a lot of drivers on the medium tyres. That's pretty damning situation there for the hard tyres with the Lexus. Hard tyres for Nasty on the Ferrari. Have a few laps left in them. Senior Facts Porsche looking very good. In fact, he's front left is the most limited tyre there, and running out wide then, as is allowed by race control. We've got Phil in P3, and he's had a great run on the medium tyres up till now, so he will presumably be headed towards pit lane very soon. Yeah, it's a little bit ahead of Red's plan of being a drinker, I think. I'm sure he will have to get into beer. Oh, that's huge. Oh dear me, that's huge from Phil, and that is perhaps one lap too long on the tyres. Let's go back and do him absolutely no favours whatsoever and watch it again as he goes round. It is easily done. That was the Paget corner exit. As then we hit in towards the following Tell me that wasn't Tequila. Oh dear me. Tequila Monkey, second big hit from his perspective. Let's just watch that from his camera angle. If we can get here, we'll see. He's obviously pushing as hard as possible. He sees the car go off in front, and he's got to go for the empty space. Oh, that's not pleasant at all for Tequila Monkey. So 2 big incidents for him, and somehow or other he has dropped back. No, excuse me, we just went back into the into the replay buffer again. Tequila Monkey in P3, 22.6 seconds off the lead of Senor, and he now comes into the pits and he's just said, right, I've had enough. I am not running this anymore. I've done 25 minutes. I've been hit in a big way twice, and I'm heading in towards pit road. I've got to get that front splitter mended and get on with the race. Phil has his damage to fix as well, but he was headed towards the pit road anyway. Dummy will pick up those positions once again, but his gap to the leader, Senor now 29.9 seconds, as Senor is running that. So Tequila, so Red says, why Tequila? Is it always when I miss a race that you crash? Scavvy said it looked like Phil had front damage, what, before the accident? Is that what you're saying, Scavvy, or as a result of the accident? Because both cars had front damage as a result of the accident for sure, or at least after the accident. But yeah, if that's what you're saying, Scavvy, then you can obviously watch more replays than I can, and you can view the engineer app. I've got too much to try and watch in one go, and so it looks like Twitch has stopped again. Let's just start that again, and maybe we'll have a look. Let's watch with Dummy instead, shall we? Because that's a championship important situation. Nasty in P2, 9.8 seconds behind Senor, who still has some life left in the hard tyre life. But what can Dummy do now? His difference was about 3 seconds to Senor before the pit stop, but this is a golden undercut opportunity. He's strapped on the medium tyres for a short stint on light fuel. He will need to add more fuel at his next stop, but he's gone for the lightest fuel load he dare for the longest run on the mediums he can get away with, and try and make this run. Right, thanks Gavi, appreciate it. Joe has Chris, yeah, both Monkey did have damage beforehand from that off he had on lap 4. As Ren says, is Hector frozen? Yeah, thank you very much. Let's refresh Hector. So let's see. I've got 33:39 on my clock, on my race clock, and it looks like Hector has actually died. So we'll go back to Gran Turismo overlay for now, because yeah, that's a very weird one. Hector appears to have decided that he's had enough today. So Dummy, 27 seconds off Senor. We'll just compare lap times momentarily, but Senor has been absolutely metronomic. Look at the consistency, but his ultimate pace has not quite been where Dummy's is. Now, hopefully for Team Mega, he will be able to overcome that. 158.0 from Dummy on the new medium tyres. He may be able to get some track position here. So Red's saying Hector needs a vacation. Well, he should have had his vacation booked after round 13 or during the midweek, but not in that situation. But I do know that it's very expensive to run Hector and keep everything running, and we have had to take some difficult decisions about the financing of Hector and funding his Hector Brain through AI services. So I do know that we are in need of some additional financial support in the league. So if you are feeling like you can spare some money, then please donate to the league through the website. There is a monthly or one-off option, and please, if you can, try and help out in the off season. We would very much appreciate it. And then of course we can look at our title sponsors for next season. And the package that we need to put together to keep everything running to the standard that we all appreciate throughout the course of the season. I think we're going to be going for a slightly shorter season, and we'll be able to play around with Hector a little bit in the off-season. Here is Bijan and Niki Lauda. Senor Fact still has not pitted off his hard tyres, and I am getting concerned now that he's planning a one-stop here, but he would have to get significantly into the second half of the race, so sort of 35 minutes or so on that hard tyre, I would estimate, in order to get the mediums home. Rents is blaming Hector's death on death. So that's always a fairly safe guarantee, as Niki is chasing down his teammate at the moment. Hard tyres on both cars. And there is Tequila Monkey in P9, and he has had not a lot of fun so far today, I think it's fair to say. Sock in 10th, with Comma Copa in 12th, in 11th place, Phil in 12th, and Uncle Pants in P13. Flash has made it back to P3 with that huge undercut, fitting the medium tyres so early. Let's have a look at those medium tyres, but he is about to take his second, and I imagine final pit stop fairly soon. He's got two or fewer laps are left in the car, in the tank, and we will see if that improves for him. Just in the background, I'm refreshing Hector all the time to give you those extra views. I know you can view things. Let me know if the engineer app is still working and that link is working for you as well. Hopefully it is, because the engineers really do rely on the information that it gives to keep their drivers informed of everything they need to know. 23 seconds the gap went down to, with another another 158 or less. Hector is dead, says Matt. Oh dear me, that is tough for everybody, but they can watch the streams, and and I'm sure Matt is streaming out to see the gaps for everybody rather than just what's interesting like I do. It's Senor Fack in the pits. It's Dummy trying to get that undercut done, and we'll see if he manages to make it past as he runs through. Can we see Senor Fack on the way out of the pit lane? No, so Dummy has been able to do it, but he has to use this opportunity right now. Excuse me. He has to use this chance now to try and get that clear air on the car, get those lap times in, and then put the hard tyres on and be there to battle later on. I don't see where Senor Fack is, but there he is in P3 now. He's come out of the pits on the medium tyres, and Durtbag Larry reinstated in second position thanks to stopping earlier, and he's got his hard tyres on now. We'll see if he can one-stop this race. Another big slide then from Durtbag Larry. Love to see it. Unfortunately, it's no quicker, but we'll just have another little view of that as he comes through the corner. The replay's gone quite a way back here for us, but looking for that late apex then to straighten up the next corner, and then on the power, and a beautiful four-wheel slide from Larry, which I absolutely love to see. Despite that, he's got a personal best sector 1. Sector 2 is just slightly slower than his personal best, so I think he's going for a 2. He's got medium hard, and then presumably will go mediums as soon as he possibly can. But up to second place now, Durtbag Larry, and he will do Dummy the world of favours if he can hold off Senor Fack, who is now on his medium tyres with less than half the race left to go. Obviously less fuel to start the race. Larry is clearly having to run very, very marginal here to hang on. He's got the hard tyres on. We saw him just looking in the mirrors as he went through. That was the Falcon kink. Used to be a much better name. It was the Hatzenbetsbogen, which I absolutely adored saying. But we've got Senor Fack powering out of the Hyundai Curva of turn 15. He is tucked right up underneath the rear wing of Durtbag Larry. Do we go to the inside or the outside? Well, we're going for the better braking zone and to flatten out the corner as much as possible. Larry trying to hang on then to that inside lane going through turn 2. Senor Fack will try the cutback, but Larry's pretty wise to this move down the inside, because he's done it. He did it to Nasty earlier on. He looked like he was just able to dissuade Senor Fack from diving down the inside, as Larry then takes the traditional racing line, but Senyorfak has grip for days, and he runs down towards the inside lane on the approach into Padgett Racing Turn 7 and sneaks a great move through at the very scene of his teammate's accident where the car went wrong. But Senyorfak into second. That will not impress Dummy because it didn't cost him a great deal of time being stuck behind Larry there for very long. Nasty is there in P4, and he and Durtbag Larry, I think, are natural adversaries today in terms of their qualifying position and overall pace so far. He's got no sleep till Brooklyn on the car as well. I did just notice it's on the other side of the car for Durtbag Larry. We'll try and get a better one. There's Ashley written on the side. I can see behind the wing mirror there. I think that is, and then it's this side just under the driver's door. You'll just see it in a kind of brush script font. It says "No sleep till Brooklyn." Twinkle Toe said, "Go Durtbag." Like Ricky Bobby said, if you're not first, you're last. And I'm afraid that was just a little miscalculation from Larry coming through the Vidal chicane, unfortunately. Just as the message came through from Twinkle Toe that he's got this, unfortunately, a big slide. He's avoided any contact or crossing in front of anyone else. But Durtbag Larry just losing a bit of time overall, and a couple positions to Nasty and to his teammate Mappy, who is on his medium tyre stint at the moment. Dummy leads Senyorfak by 13.6 seconds. Senyorfak dipping underneath the 2-minute mark there on his new medium tyres. Dummy running 1:59.0 on the last lap, so extending that lead, but he will have to pit again, and I think Senyorfak will not pit again. I think Dummy's probably going to be running hard, medium, and possibly medium. I think he might get away with using 2 sets of medium today, but of course Senyorfak will save an entire pit stop. This is going to be fascinating because there really is only half to a full second of difference between Senyorfak and Dummy on the tyres at any given point here on equal conditions. So over the course of a race, everything going swimmingly for Dummy, he would still probably be able to make a pit stop, but he did have that issue earlier on and that off, so he did lose a good 3 or 4 seconds earlier on with that problem coming out of the final corner, the Hyundai Curva. Mappy in P4 with his teammate Durtbag Larry kicking out the dirt on the exit of the corner. Tequila Monkey recovering to 6th place right now. I haven't seen Flash for a little while. We'll have a look for him as Bijan and Niki Lauda are inseparable, and the Buckstein Transport Service drivers are making a real habit of being together on track throughout the different divisions at this point in the season. Clearly their training is working absolute wonders, and they are so evenly matched. It is almost untrue. 49.7 seconds is Flash's deficit to the lead then at the moment. He has, I think, sufficient tyres and fuel to make it the remaining 23 minutes of our race. Number 72, it is Coma Copa in the Jag for the Brokaga team as he runs through and heads uphill towards that Vidal chicane. Hold your breath through here every single time, and until you've got the back end gripping and the power down, you cannot let out any more air at all. It is Phil chasing down Coma Copa. Phil with his issue earlier on in the second sector of the racetrack, but he is continuing to fight as we like to see. Sock in 12th and Uncle Pants at the back in P13. I'll just double check that Hector hasn't come back from the dead. No, Hector is most definitely dead today, I'm afraid to say. And for those of you who are not premium members, we'll just take a quick breather. So, who have we got? It is the fabulous Buckstein Transport Service drivers locked in absolute perfection together right now. P8 Niki Lauda, as it has been. just behind Bijan for the majority of the race so far. Nicky, with fabulous local knowledge, used to be a marshal of the Green Hell itself, the Nürburgring Nordschleife, and he has some great stories, and some of those great ghost stories he told on one of my streams, and I put his name in the title. So on one of our casual streams, we were racing in the night in the Nordschleife, and he was busy telling us horror stories from his time there, and he's desperately trying to organise a trip for us all to go and die, I think, on the Nordschleife. Into the pit lane we go, because I'm absolutely certain I would I would kill myself if I tried to drive on the Nürburgring Nordschleife. Elite drivers only, as far as I'm concerned. Flash in P9 then, as Kelvin is cheering him on, which is great to see. What does it say on the back? It says nothing to see here on the back of his car in the red text. Flash in P8. He is 49.9 seconds away from the lead of the race, as Komakopa takes his next pit stop and final pit stop. I would estimate. Dummy leads by 10.6 seconds. He's circulating very consistently in the mid 1 minute 59s. Senor Fak has got the last 2 laps into low 1 minute 58s while he enjoys the grip on these medium tyres. Dummy is on his mediums but running out of fuel and tyre grip, so he will have to come out again for another set of tyres. Whether he considers this worth a risk for the mediums, but clearly he is very much within a pit stop distance of Senor Fak. 15 seconds off the lead is nasty still as well, and nasty could still be able to hold off a pit stop from Dummy. So Dummy is certainly going to have to pass him, possibly even Mappy, although I think Mappy is headed towards the pit lane himself as well. Before the end of the race. It is lap 20. We have 19.5 minutes left to run in the race. So that's fantastic to see for everybody. Unfortunately, it looks like my delay add button that I've been using only works for every 10 minutes. So I can pause for 10 minutes for you. Durtbag Larry pits from 5th position, and he heads in towards the pit lane for another set of tyres. Tequila Monkey is promoted, possibly temporarily, to that P5. And we wait to see just how bad the tyres are for Dummy at the moment. 159.4, 159.7. They're not that bad, but clearly it is time to head towards the pit lane now with 18 minutes to go. I think that leaves him able to use the medium tyres to finish this race. I can't quite tell at the moment how long he's been on those mediums, but he's out of fuel anyway regardless. It's just a matter of, can he turn left as gently as possible for the end of this lap 21 for Dummy. Let's see how it feels on board with him as we head on in towards the Xiaomi curve, turn 10. The setting sun above the green trees of the forest of Nürburgring. There you can just see the Nürburgring castle up at the top of Nürburg Castle, I want to say, as we head towards the Vidal chicane next up. There is the refueling glitch, but it is actually telling the truth now, just like a broken watch. And we go into the pit lane then on board with him, and he will head down in towards the pit lane, but the gap has dropped to 8.6 seconds for Senor Fak, who is now very much in the commanding seat here in this race and potentially the championship. We saw this before, that if Senor Fak can finish ahead of Dummy, that he will only have a 2-point deficit going into the final round of the season. Dummy down then with 1 litre of fuel. He will drop all the way back. So I was predicting perhaps behind Mappy. Let's have a look from Mappy's perspective, whether Dummy exits the pits in front of us or behind us. It is behind us, as Tequila Monkey is also pitted, and that things are going to get even harder for Dummy I was worried that now that he's going to end up having to pass Flash to try and get back onto the podium here. Looks like Flash is too far back right now. So Dummy is in P4, Mappy in P3 there. So Dummy's overall deficit to the lead of the race, 24 seconds as he gets back up to racing speed through the Mercedes AMG arena position for the fans. And running out wide we go for Dummy. And he has now got a mountain to climb, a 24-second deficit on a new set of medium tyres up against Senor Fax, whose mediums will be much older. So his lap times will presumably start to drop unless he's able to manage that degradation throughout the course of the stint perfectly. He is about halfway through his medium tyre stint, and that, for me, is a big warning sign for Senor Fax. If he has to pit to the end of the race, it will be for a set of softs, but he's about halfway worn on the front left, and I think, by my calculations, he's done about 12 minutes on them, and he still has 15 3/4 minutes to run, plus the end of the lap that they finish on. It's lap 22 right now, and that is a worry for the Leigh team, I think, at this stage. But clearly he has track position, so he can dial it back. He can start to treat the tyres as gently as possible and try and hold on to that gap and not pit, or he can go for broke and say, do you know what, no, I know I have to pit, I'm just going to get it done as early as possible. Nasty pits then from P2, as does Mappy, so Dummy will not have any cars in front of him. Don't do that again, Dummy, as he's pushing hard, as you would expect here. 2 minute 15 his outlap. Senor Fax outlap was a 2 minute 18 in the end. So 16 and 18 were Senor Fax outlap in and outlaps. 16 and 15 were Dummies. So a big gain on the outlap for Dummy with less fuel on board, I think would explain part of that at least. Flash is 43.5 seconds away from the lead. He's just 3.9 from Nasty, and he has a gap behind him to Durtbag Larry of 5.8 seconds. Flash on the hard tyres, definitely going to go to the end of the race as we get a starring role for our cone there. And again, as Durtbag Larry comes through, we'll make sure that the cone gets plenty of airtime here, because it has been treated very harshly as we run through the next few corners. Let's get really close to the cone, shall we, as we go through. This is Bijan. We've changed camera, unfortunately, as we run out of the next corner. No one is going to tag that cone again. I think it's too far off the racing line. I've said this before, but I used to entertain myself when I was doing endurance races single player on Gran Turismo 3 and 4. Is the way I would entertain myself was to see how far around the circuit I could knock the same cone over and over again. And the cone would go round the circuit if you had the right track. you could really make it work. But typically they were somewhat easy, those endurance races, if you set the car up right. So you had to find some way of entertaining yourself. Bijan in 9th, Phil in 10th, with Copa in 11th. Kind of looks like Phil has forgotten the V after his name, if you line up Bijan and Copa with him. Sock in 12th, Uncle Pants in 13th place, and Senor Fax leads by 22.6 seconds with just 13 minutes left to go. Dummy's about to cross the line. What does this second flying lap on the tyres it? But the first lap was a 58.0 to Senor Fax 59.2. And the fastest lap so far is with Dummy, a 57.8 on medium tyres. I think lap 2 or 3 of his medium tyre stint the first time round was what we had there. The number 33 leading the championship and leading the charge here for a potential battle right at the very end of the grid. Purple sector for Dummy. Let's ride on board the Mega Racing driver and see if he can keep that streak going. Now that the track is fully rubbered in, it will be cooling slightly with the sunset effect, although I think we've got the time multiplier down to just 1 times, but it would still happen. The track will rubber in, but the temperature will drop through the course of our race if we are in sunset conditions. And unfortunately, he's lost time in that second sector as we climb the hill through the Michael Schumacher S. We are on lap 24 right now, so heading in towards Xiaomi curve and then into the Bilstein right-hander with the setting sun due west, obviously, and we head over the line, and we are just 1/10 of a second away from our absolute best, and the absolute best of the race so far. Nasty, running in P3, is 39 seconds away from Senor Fac, but there is a question mark in my mind as to whether Senor Fac will pit again. Nasty will not pit again, and he's going as fast as he has gone so far in the race. Flash is 4th, Durtbag Larry is in P5, and Tequila Monkey is in P6, setting the fastest sector at the moment through to the end of sector 3. We'll see if Dummy gets a new fastest lap. I think probably not, by the look of the way the lap was running earlier on. There is Tequila Monkey with his battle-scarred Ferrari GT3, taking the widest line possible into the final corner. And he may get the new fastest lap here on this race. Rage Pace getting a purple, says Scavvy, and it is a new fastest lap of the race, a 1:57.421, as Tequila Monkey is closing in on the back of Durtbag Larry and two more popular drivers in our live chat you will not find, I think, here in the G1 division. So fantastic to see them both approaching each other on track. Let's hope that they can avoid any race affecting incidents. The gold wheels and accents, by the way, on Tequila Monkey's car is in reference to his champion status. He is the reigning S1 champion for the 2024 VR Sim Racing World Championship. Yes, he beat Vader last season, and Beragos and many others to take that title, but he didn't want to sit and return to defend it. He wanted to change code for a new challenge, and he has taken those gold rims, and he's decided to go racing in the Ferrari GT3 division. Senor Fac has pitted then from the lead of the race. I apologise for raising the voice to such an extent, but that is massive news and will be a huge boon for Dummy, who will run through this final corner, see the pit stop marker for the car in front of him, or at least be told by his race engineer. So Senor Fac will pit now. He will have 9 minutes left to run in the race. There was where the position of Senor Fac. Where will he come out? Can Dummy hang on? I fully expect Senor Fac to be coming out on soft tyres, and he absolutely does so. There it is then for Senor Fac. He has just under 9 minutes of race time to go before the checkered flag comes out, and his gap is 7 seconds, and he has a tyre advantage. Strap in, folks. We are looking forward to a tremendous finish to this race with just 8 minutes left to go. I have hit pause on the ads, so we hopefully will have uninterrupted coverage for those of you who are not YouTube Premium members. If you do want to remove ads, that's a great way, by the way, as well. And Red saying it will be interesting to see, with 6.8 seconds now, 6.7 seconds between the two of them. This is going to be fascinating to a finish. Nasty in third place is a little bit on his own right now, but Flash, Durtbag Larry and Tequila Monkey could yet have some drama between the three of them. And here is Durtbag Larry closing in on Flash, who has had 3 races off. One of them, I do believe, was a race ban, but the rest of them, I think, were work related. So there goes Flash, just trying to extend the width of the car on the way into the corner. Let's go, Senor Dude, says Matt Davis. I mean, I'm afraid, Matt, you have to be impartial as our session host, I believe. Here, as impartial as I am. For the course of the race. So I hope the next message you leave is, I hope all the drivers have fun. Dummy in P1, Senor Fac in P2. We will keep our eye on that, but at the moment, Flash, Durtbag Larry, Tequila Monkey, this three drivers who have by accident or by deliberate nature not been shy of making a little bit of contact between each other throughout the course of our season, and I think no one really wants to see them all three closing in on one another towards the end of the race, unless I guess you represent a different team. Perhaps Mappy or Buckstein drivers might be Buckstein team members might be quite keen on this this battle brewing here. 0.7 of a second Flash to Durtbag Larry, 0.9 of a second Larry to Tequila Monkey. Let's have a look at Senior Fact. The gap down to 5.5 seconds as he puts in a 2:09 outlap. That's frightening pace from him, and Dummy is running 58.5s. Let's back to this interesting, intriguing battle here as JL has Chris getting so excited he's calling him E-Larry. Who is Larry? That's what I need to know. 0.4 of a second Larry to Flash, and we know that Flash is one of those drivers who is tremendously difficult to overtake, and this is a difficult to overtake circuit as well. So Larry's going to have to do something fairly unconventional, I think, here, as Flash will be trying to drive the widest possible Lamborghini Huracan that he can possibly muster. You see Flash just slightly defending to the middle of the track, but he's overcommitted in towards Goodyear corner. Possibly he gets a great exit though. It did look like he went deep. That could just be his driving line. And into wheels the Schumacher S. The Audi looks brilliant and planted and low slung and full of grip through that corner. But Flash looked a little bit long. So let's see. I tried to read the chat. I can't make it out at the moment. But here we go. So Tequila Monkey behind Larry here as we head through the Falcon turn 13 in uphill towards the Vidal chicane. Larry having to defend slightly here on the way into the corner, just kicking up onto three or two wheels at once as we go through the corner. Tequila Monkey looking like he really wants to get involved in this battle now, and taking a late apex. Good drive off the corner, but he has to carry so much momentum through the corner because that Ferrari is lacking a little bit in outright speed, and everyone's heart is bleeding currently for the Ferrari team, who have no discernible advantage with our grid starts at all. The setting sun glints off the gold rims of Tequila Monkey's car as he just gets the nose up on the inside, and he just negotiates enough room there. Larry sweeps down the inside, tries to close the door, but Tequila Monkey is right there. Larry could still profit from this situation because Tequila Monkey versus Flash is a very exciting prospect here for any neutrals in the crowd. The gap at the front down to 3 seconds now. 56.5 from Senior Faku is the first driver to run the soft tyres, but still astonishing from him. 56.5 outright. Let's give you more of this three-way here. Flash, Tequila Monkey and Dirtbag Larry as we go down. Tequila Monkey, whoa, big slide again from Monkey. Flash taking a V-shaped run through the Goodyear corner. That does look to be a deliberate run, and you can see how compromised the aerodynamics are on Tequila Monkey's Ferrari. And that needs a whole new front end before the final race at Road Atlanta in 2 weeks' time. I hope to see as many of you there as we possibly can. But Tequila Monkey running through. We are going to do plenty of off-season races as well in the post-season. Have plenty of fun. I'll be broadcasting what I can, probably from my POV. Yeah, we will try and keep you entertained in the post-season. But of course, it'll be great for everybody just to let off a bit of steam here. But for now, all focus is firmly on the finish of this championship. Tequila Monkey would love to finish this championship in third position, behind such titans as Dummy and Senior Fact. There is an indication for you that Flash is nervous, that he's got Tequila Monkey behind him. 2.5 minutes remain to us. The gap at the front is below 2 seconds now, 1.6 seconds in fact, but the soft tyres burn bright, but they burn fast, and they will start to tail off. He's in towards about halfway worn on those tyres, but Dummy's outside left front tyre there is not looking happy at all either. He's got a similar management phase to go through, but he can see the bright white, black and red Leigh behind him, the Porsche of his main championship rival. This is huge for Dummy. This is the difference between walking into the final race of the season with I think a 5 or 6 point advantage or a 2 point advantage. Huge for him. Let's just check back in with Tequila Monkey and Flash. It's 2.5 tenths of a second between these two, and there is Tequila Monkey sliding around through that Goodyear corner. Both cars on old tyres. Flash defending on hards, Tequila attacking on mediums, and he's got a great run here going towards the inside corner, and there you can see he's trying to nibble away, trying to find that room, and a contact into the corner. Tequila Monkey feathering the throttle, doesn't want to take advantage of contact through that corner. He'll try and get a good exit though if he can, but clearly that got a little bit testy already. As they head uphill towards that Vidal chicane, Flash will defend to the outside. Tequila Monkey says, all right, I'll use the outside. No, back to the inside for Tequila Monkey. Go for it. Down the inside we go. And he takes that position, but he's all at sea on the marbles on the way through again. Absolutely astonishing from Tequila Monkey and Flash as they fight completely all over this position on the road. Look, this was the run up the hill towards the Vidal. Left, right, left. Going for the jump down the inside. Trying to turn in and then just losing the car on the exit, unfortunately. But it was right there to be had. 28 seconds to go in our time race until the checkered flag. This will be the final lap of the race. The gap at the front is below 1 second. We're on lap 30. It's the end of this race phase now. And it is all to play for as we run through this tremendous G1 race for Carroll in the Nürburgring. And we run down towards the left-hander on the approach into that turn 5 becomes turn 6 of Paget Racing. Very short shoot before heading into that corner, and Tequila Monkey cannot get down the inside close enough. This is the lead 2. The gap is half a second now. Senor Fak will have to go for it into the Vidal chicane if he's given any quarter, any taste of a chance on the way in. Dummy holds on for now. He's got to get the exit out of the next corner. Potentially Senor Fat could challenge. It's 3 tenths of a second. Dummy will try and turn in, try and grab that apex, power out, and we've got a drag race to the finish. Look at the Porsche go, and he's round. Senor Fat hits the wall, but he gave it everything. You can't claim for 1 second that he didn't leave everything out there. Dummy wins in the end. Senor Fat takes it to a finish in P2. Nasty continues. We'll just check out Flash and Tequila Monkey as well as they head uphill. What a finish to the end of the race as Tequila Monkey tries to get down the inside line. We'll try that drag race finish as well if he can, but that will rely on Flash making an error. Nasty finishes for Kimmy's in P3. What a result for Kimmy's racing team, P3, and what will be P5 provisionally, at least, if we don't get any accidents and any incident reports. I'm not sure. I can't really rule at this stage whether Tequila had a more right to room on the race than Flash gave him. Mappy takes home 6th, and Durtbag Larry in the end hit the wall, I think. Unfortunately, hit something anyway. Let's see Durtbag Larry. When did that happen for him? Tell me it wasn't. I don't know. It had already happened for him at that stage of the race. Durtbag Larry in 7th. We've got Nicky in 8th, Bijan in 9th, and Copa will come home 10th on the lead lap with Phil. Uncle Pants in 12th and Sock in 13th. I can't believe the way that finished, but Dummy held on in the end, and he got that P1 ahead of Senor Fak and will extend his lead in the Drivers' Championship here for the team. I think Leigh will pick up points versus Mega because Mega were only fielding the one car. But your provisional results then are Dummy in P1, Senor Fak in 2, with Nasty completing our podium. Fantastic race from Nasty. Take nothing away from him for Kimmy's racing team. There he is in P3. Flash in 4th, Tequila Monkey in 5th in the end, and Mappy ahead of Durtbag Larry, who seemingly came unglued on that final lap of the race. Was certainly limping home with some damage. Nicky Lauda for Bergstein, finishing ahead of Bijam there in the end in 9th place. Komakopa 10th, and then our grid complete with Phil, Uncle Pants, and Sock, who, as I say, was racing injured today, and we hope his knee recovers. Dummy wins ahead of Senor Fak and Nasty. Thank you, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that one as much as I evidently did. For now, that's us done here live. But we will have more coverage later in the week. Usually Thursday at 7 p.m. UK time, we'll release the G2 stream. And then, of course, we will head out to Monza this time next week. And actually, a little bit earlier, 4 hours or so earlier than now, in 2 weeks' time, in a week's time, for the AN divisional race, which I think I'll be taking part in. If I've got the courage, followed by, of course, the S1. On to Road Atlanta for the G drivers. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Hopefully you are happy enough to drop a like or a tip my way, but appreciate everyone watching and chatting all the same. It's all so much better when you tune in live and take part with us. Great to see everybody. Thanks so much, and we will catch you on the next race day.